Welcome back, everybody. As you see, I didn't go anywhere without y'all. We took first place last time, a surprising turnabout, which was actually really good. That would have been a good one to just end off everything on. It's like, oh yeah, forget what I said about being unlucky, but we also started this day's recordings with a internet outage, so yeah. But, ooh, I haven't been able to play as Pyramid in a while. And there's Pirates and Murlocs. Yes, we're going Pyramid. I don't think I've been able to do this one yet on the YouTube channel. Let's see, I don't know if I remember. I don't think I got to finish talking about the cars, but I think I did too. I think I ended up getting sidetracked with the police officers, but I can't really remember.
Are you ready?
I know I did touch on the fact don't run stop signs because you don't want to wreck, and it's dangerous to other people. Also, tip your delivery drivers. I haven't done Grubhub or anything like that, but I can safely say that people that are doing like Domino's, Pizza Hut, stuff like that, they get paid like minimum wage, sometimes less. Majority of the time, less. It depends on what building they're in. They get paid like waitresses, basically. And you may not know this about waitresses, because I mean, I didn't know it before I actually made friends with some of them and everything. But the fact of the matter is that where you're making 7.20 at minimum wage, and let's face the facts, most businesses have picked up that pay raise because they know people can't survive off of just 7.20. But the government hasn't stepped in and made it mandatory yet. But they have to try to get by with less than that. Like they make sometimes 260, 3 something, like regularly. That is their actual pay. They don't make anything. We won the reroll because we need more Murlocs if we're gonna do this. But like
Doing great out
the
there.
problem is that they're, let's say they get paid 320, even at 320. The reason why they get paid so little is because the business is able to dictate that they are making 720 off of tips. Because as long as they're working their tables like they're supposed to, they're paid their hourly rate. They're making the rest of it up in tips, so they're actually getting paid good and everything like that. The thing is that that doesn't account for the fact of how many times people don't tip as a whole. Like, how many times can you honestly like say that you tipped every single time, and that you didn't just tip like the change from what you owed or something like that? Like it happens all the time. I personally don't do that unless I have bad service, but I've seen it. Trust me, I've been a delivery boy myself. I've seen it where it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, it's a $14 order with, and by $14, it's actually $14.46. So they give you a 10 and a 5, and they count that as the tip. And it's like, well, dang, cranking the car didn't pay for that. Like, literally, I had to stop what I was doing, bag your food, make sure I got everything that you had, get into my vehicle, whether it's storming, freezing, burning hot, whatever the reason is. Gotta get into this vehicle now and race to your house through all this crappy traffic because you didn't want to leave your house, but I'm supposed to. And then I get there and you gave me 56-cent tip. Like, thanks, but no thanks at this point. You might as well keep it because this is insulting at this point that you felt like you didn't get that good of a service. You know, other countries, they just go ahead and pay the servers an actual rate so that they don't have to survive off of the tips. Some companies, they will actually fire them if they don't make enough tips. So it's literally based off of if somebody just wants to be a jackwagon and like, oh, you know, I don't tip nobody because you make money. You get paid to do this job just like I get paid to do my job. They don't tip me, so why would I tip you? you get paid an actual full rate. Some of you get paid over minimum wage. But, you know, whatever, right? Because it's not you. Should I do that? Screw it. Now I'm going to do that. Another Murloc. Let's put this one up front. They're really not going to give us no Murlocs in this thing. I should not have bought them. But, so then it's like, even less than that. Some of them get paid like $2 on some and everything like that. So don't get me wrong, yeah, there's some servers who get to come home and they make like $300 a day at the end of it. But there's been people like me personally. I worked at Domino's, and my minimum rate was not exactly paid. I was paid, I think, $6 when I was inside, and then once I'm in my vehicle, I'm at $5, which I spent majority of the time in my vehicle.
You're doing great out there.
So, and then I was working 12-hour days. Anywhere from 10 to 12-hour days was a regular. Like, my day consisted of, and it was because of the shift hours, like, I would literally wake up at 4 in the afternoon, take a shower, be at work by 5, and then be there working the entire time until 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the morning washing dishes. Like, we closed at 1 o'clock, and that meant we didn't even get to start cleaning up the store until
we all
then.
hit some bumps now and then.
Let's go ahead and put this down too. This down. This one. Do I sell it or do I keep it? If I keep it, I run the risk of buffing it. So we're gonna get it. That one we want, so. So, no, you're not making that much money doing all this stuff, and it's like, they get praised for like, oh, well, you must make a fortune because you hear about somebody who made $600 a night. But I sat there and I worked anywhere from 10 to 12-hour days. Come in at 4 o'clock and not get to leave till 4 in the morning. Come in, I literally had one day where I was supposed to have my shift switched. So I came in early to cover for it, and it was under the pretenses that I was going to leave at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because I had to go to a funeral. I get there and I'm there first thing in the morning. They're running behind, but I'm there at exactly where I'm supposed to be at. Let's do this. Do this. We're really going to get another triple out of this, because they won't stop feeding this one to us. Actually, do it like that. Yeah, I'm not complaining, honestly. But so I get there, and it's like we opened at 11, so I get there at 10:30. I have to wash dishes because the people who didn't close the night before, or were supposed to close the night before, didn't. They just left. I was the only person who honestly stuck to the dishes in that store. I do the dishes while I'm doing all the prep work. And I don't know how to do the prep work because I don't do morning shift normally, so I'm having to be told what to do as we're doing it. We find out that the front end hasn't been cleaned, so we're having to clean the front end, do the dishes, do all the prep work to get all the stuff together and established so we can start our day. And the whole time we're getting orders just slammed into us because this happens to be a busy day on top of that. The other morning shift driver doesn't show up. And then when the time comes that it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm supposed to be getting out of there. They're like, well, you can't leave until this other person shows up for their shift. Like, I have a funeral I have to get to, and that's fine and all, but you have to wait until the other person gets here first. Fine, whatever. Well, then the two other people show up, but not the person I'm told I have to wait for. I'm like, nah, come on, you got two other people in here. Well, he called out. He's not gonna be able to make it, so we're gonna need to just stay until the end of rush.
Nice work
No,
out there.
I have a
Keep up the
funeral.
pressure.
Well, that doesn't change the fact that you have a job to do. So yeah, no, you can't go. If you go, it's gonna be a write-up. So because I need to go to a funeral, you're gonna write me up.
What you were looking for.
Uh, I went. I went to the funeral anyways. And they got pissy with me. I actually almost lost my job because of how the attitude I actually threw at them. By the time it was all said and done with, I kind of deserved the attitude back. But I'm gonna get through this. It's another battle cry right there. If I could somehow get up to get that, yeah. Let's back down, do this, buy this. This is gonna buff a bunch of stuff, including him. Put this on him. Put this in the back because he's absolutely garbage. Put this here, and there we go.
You're doing
Thanks for
great
banana
out there.
Mugula. Yeah. And but that's like a regular. And you know what I walked away with at the end of this day? I walked away with 45 bucks. I didn't make anything then. 45 bucks. And the reason why I say I didn't make anything was because 45 bucks was put into my hand, and then I had to go put 20 bucks into my gas tank. So, my entire work day I made that much. At the end of 2 weeks of working hours like this, it was actually one of my bigger paychecks still because I had to pull extra hours to make up for that time that I missed. Even though I technically didn't miss any time, I had to make up the time I missed. Funny. I only had like $300 in this check. It was like 320 some dollars. It was a big check for me at Domino's. Like that's what came in on the check. The rest of it is me trying to survive off of, which was $45, $25 a day. Like some days I didn't get to walk out there with 40. Some days you walk out there with a little bit more, but like there are other drivers, like they were like, yeah, I came in, I worked 4 or 5 hours today. I can't get more hours. Well, how much did you walk out of here with today? I'm walking out of here with $80 today. Why am I working 3 times your shift and I'm only walking out of here with 40? And I'm more courteous than you are. Like that's crazy. It's just because the runs that they got, and it's a cutthroat like program because it's like some people they know what customers are actually willing to pay, what customers are not. It's memorized and it's like handed to them by management that likes them.
Terrible people.
So your drivers, they show up there and everything like that. They might not seem like they're in good spirits or whatever. It's because they're the ones who are getting the dog deals. So don't necessarily hate on them for that because it's not a matter of them just trying to be bad at it. It's because they're exhausted and they're feeling underappreciated too. And they feel like they're in a dead-end job that has no future because they really don't at that point. Like, there is no hope. There's never going to be a management shift for them at the end of the day. There's never going to be a pay raise at them at the end of the day. There's never any credit at the end of the day for the work that they do. But they're always on the chopping block. Because you're never any better than your worst day.
The battle is really raging out there.
See, we can put taunt on something. That's a good one. We can also do taunt again. do it with this one.
My shield for Argus. My shield for Argus.
I was trying to get
I
it so I
like where
could put
you're
it on
going
him
with
too,
this.
but that's not gonna happen. Hold out. Oh, I'll do that.
Keep up the momentum, friend.
But yeah, no, I've never seen a paycheck come in after 2 weeks at Domino's where I actually made more than $300. So that meant I had to survive off of everything else, and I regularly, like, whenever I was making actually good, I was bringing home $60. But then it's literally you're spending $20 a day in gas, and then having to put wear and tear on your vehicle, which means you're gonna have to stop and put oil into it. You're gonna have to put windshield wiper fluid to it. You know, all the stuff that you have to pay to maintain this vehicle so that you can continue to work. I'm not gonna keep him. So we're not gonna get that's negative sounding, but it's the truth. We got 2 slots. We got Murloc. Got our pirate that we're gonna keep.
So many shiny.
I wanted that, but to get that we have to not have room. There we go. We're gonna go for that. We'll probably drop the dragon. Love is killing me. He shouldn't have to leave. He only has 4 demons. He shouldn't have to leave though.
Keep up the momentum, friend.
Technically, that was good for us. Although it doesn't really matter because there's no way we're pulling this one off. We had that last health roll. But honestly, like, this isn't like what you would think it would be. If we honestly hadn't bought no minions when Henry shuffled, that health one would not have been there. 3-6, yeah, we're done. So yeah, I think I'm done for today too, because that's so ridiculous that they just throw it up there just to be like, hey, by the way, you know, you could have had this. But truthfully, the only way we could have had that is if we sold like 2 other minions to make it happen. And honestly, that 2 health wasn't going to be worth those 2 minions, so no. So we took 4th place because that's what we were allowed to take. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you getting what I'm putting down about just the lack of pay that you make when you're in here. I was barely getting by. I was paying my bills, so it was fine with me. I ultimately was making just enough to be able to cover my rent, which my rent was $250 because I live in a dumpy, crappy trailer that is infested with just about everything you can come up with. I constantly deal with power outages and obviously internet dropping. Never at the same time. It's always separate for some reason. Uh, our water randomly gets shut off and put back on just because, I don't know why. And we live on a really bad road where it's like, yeah, it's paved, but if it rains hard enough, like, it floods like crazy. In fact, it's called Mount Misery. It's a miserable road. So, but you pay for what you get, and that's what it is. We pay for the cheapest so that we can not have to pay as much to survive. And then my paychecks paid for our light bills. Like, That's how I dealt with things. I would pay with cash for my rent, and I would pay for the light bill and internet with the checks. And that's how we got by. Like we bought food with whatever we had in between. So we really didn't have much to do or get by with. That's why I'm sitting here doing. I'm working. I wake up at 4 in the afternoon. Sometimes I had to wake up at 3 in the afternoon because I had to be there at 4. I would stay at work until anywhere from 2 in the morning to 4 in the morning. I get home. I eat because I didn't want to eat at work because you get sick of pizza. I eat with my girlfriend and we watch a little bit of TV while we're eating. And then you play a video game if you can. Most times you have to go straight to bed because you have to get up again. And so you don't, because you ate, you have to take a shower right now, or else you take a shower in the morning. Sorry, afternoon when you get up. But if you did get to go home at 2 instead of 4, you got an extra 2 hours. You want to jump on a video game, but all you get to see the entire time you're on the video game is what everybody else has and you don't have because you was at work for 10 to 12 hours, while they spent 18 hours playing a video game. And it's like I paid for this video game just the same as they did, but I have nothing to show for it. So you get discouraged and you decide you don't want to play the game no more, which is why I haven't played World of Warcraft. It's because I got tired of it. I got tired of running the same dungeons over and over and raids over and over and never getting what I'm after. But then I get somebody else that joins the party and it's like, well, nobody else will run through this dungeon with me. I have no problem helping you through the dungeon. Let's go. I'm running through it anyways. I might as well take you with me so you can get everything you want. So you run them through the dungeon and then they get what you're after. And it just makes you sick because it's like, you've never been through this dungeon? No. I go through this dungeon every single week. And I never, I have never gotten that. And that's what I came here for. And I've been doing this dungeon nonstop for years at this point. The Headless Horseman. They didn't even know about the Headless Horseman. They joined World of Warcraft a few months ago. They're playing. They're like, yo, do you want to come join in? It's like, hang on, I want to do the Headless Horseman. What is that? It's a raid. Well, why do you want to fight it? There's nothing special about it. Well, you might can get his mount. It's good to get his rings for the time being because it'll get you by for equipment buffs and everything like that. His sword is cool if you can have it upgraded, but of course, with it being just a one-handed sword, it would have been better for Death Knight, Blood Death Knight, to have it because he could do summoning and stuff like that, but it's just a one-handed sword, so you really can't. His helmet is fun because it'll do the laugh and everything like that, but it's like, okay, but it's such a rare drop. You get the rings 100,000 times. You get the the generic pumpkin head that you could throw at people, or else you could put on little one penny things. You get them all the time, but you might not even get that helmet or that sword this playthrough. Like it'd be different if, as you did it, you got the percentages increased, which is something that I was saying before. I think they need to do, but they don't. Like they don't have that. In fact, oh my god, I know I wasn't gonna do another one, but I will do another one, and we will have another discussion towards Blizzard about this. So I'll see you guys in just a moment, or in your case, tomorrow. Peace.